Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Rabbidoo here, Starcraft Broodwar Remastered ladder games, and once again we are showcasing Togles. So we very recently completed a Terran versus Protoss compilation, just a few random games we grabbed of his on the ladder, and today we are switching it up by doing another showcase, in other words, series of games, but this time all Terran versus Zerg matches. So this is how we are splitting it up. By the time February is done and dusted, we should hopefully have 5 of Togles videos up on the channel. By then we should have a pretty good idea of how much of a fan base these videos have got, and therefore how many more of these we will make going forward. Oh dear, we have misclicked all of our SCVs there. Oh no! So if you do enjoy this content, please do interact with the video, because that will send a signal to me that this is the kind of stuff that I should be making. Somewhere in the video as well should be my sub count at the time that I am editing this video. It might be a little bit different to the time you're watching it, but the long and the short of it is our goal is to get to 1,000 subs by the end of 2026. So if you do enjoy watching my videos and you haven't yet subscribed, please do, so you can help me to achieve my goal for the year, and that will be very, very much appreciated. Okay, so we have a 12 hatchery here from our Zerg, and Togles, with his mining glitches aside, looks like he's just setting up for a Rex expand without gas and without a marine. So nice and aggressive. Let's go. So I haven't really been able to put a style to him yet. The TVPs I've watched so far have mainly just been him reacting to getting cheesed or rushed, or something along those lines. So we're still trying to get a sense of the man's style and flavor. The one thing I will say though is he's definitely fun. Like, he does do all sorts of fun kind of builds, reactions. Doesn't chat much to players, but when he got cheesed in the last TVP compilation that I did, he called the guy a noob, which I thought was pretty funny. So we're doing 3 hatches, and now only getting our gas up. So this is a slightly different kind of build from our Zerg. We'll keep an eye on that. You don't get the macro hatch before the gas usually, and you don't get it before the lair usually. So difficult to say what's up here, but the lings are linging. The lings are definitely linging. So these 4 marines on the high ground should probably be able to hold here. Uh-oh. So there's a couple of lings in the house. Second Rex on the way. Alrighty, 1 ling left. We're droning behind this. We're getting ling speed. We're getting more lings. We're getting a lair. So relatively normal. Togles SCV got in here. Did see what he was up against, which is a delayed lair. So feels comfortable enough now to transfer his workers. Academy is nearly done. I'm sure the engineering bay is around the corner. So I don't know if Togles is a Valkyrie guy, right? So that's always the interesting thing if you're looking at a Terran player, a modern Terran player, or any Terran player for that matter, who plays at a relatively high level, is, are they trying the new Valkyrie build, or is it something that they consider to be best left alone? So we will hopefully find that in our showcases. I'll be doing if the Togles series do well, I'm doing a fair number of them to give it a good go. But if they go well, I'll definitely mix in some longer macro games into casting, in the future. So I'm just looking for some feedback on what the preference is there. Do you like a mix? Do you like predominantly long games, or do you like compilations? I find the cheese ones are pretty fun. So it's always good to mix it up and not know what to expect. But then again, I am here to serve, so to speak. So I'd rather make content that the audience wants to see, as opposed to just focusing in on what I think you want to see or what I personally enjoy. So we've arrived and we are late with our Sunkens. But the second Sunken is about to finish. And we've got a fair number of links to hold up here. So now we're just parking off here, not rushing anything. Spire is nearly done. The Spire is kind of what's forced our Zerg to hold on here. I think mixing in these fire bats is a real masterstroke. The fire bats do so much damage so quickly. He's having to pull some drones here to body block for the Sunkens. It's working quite well, although these medics are really working overtime. But he's pulling in a whole crap ton of drones. And one Sunken is fighting for its life here and is doing unbelievable work. Holy crap! Pity you can't get a kill count on a Sunken, because that would just be immense. He's only got to hit it twice more. He's going to try and take it down, and he does get it. And now suddenly we have one very, very aggro Marine against all these remaining drones. Does get picked off. What a frenetic start to this game this has been. First mutas popped now, so perhaps some counterattacks. Let's see. So what do we have in terms of defense? We're just rushing to get some turrets up here as quickly as we can. The Marines are in good position though to push this back initially. And now we have a decent number of turrets. A couple here, a couple here. Probably wants this turret up sooner rather than later. Does lose a muta. I think he got one SCV there, so not ideal from a trade perspective. Really, really going for it here. Gets both those turrets. And a decent handful of SCVs as well. Adding to the stack. I think he's going to go again. Looks like Togles is counter-attacking here. This is really going to test me. But he's basically pulling counter and killing drones like they're going out of fashion here. This guy's going to have to pull his mutas back. He does. I don't know if he's got enough Marines to fight this flock of mutas. I think he might. The medics are really working overtime here. And if this hatch goes down, Togles is going to take the game. And he does get it over the line. A very, very fun and somewhat emphatic win. I think he's going to just carry on playing here. I always find that very, very amusing when they do that. Anyway, we've got a few more games here in our compilation, so I'll bring you game 2 right now. Okay, this time we're on Fighting Spirit. And yeah, that was a really fun first game. I think it was quite a strange build from our Zerg. And as I'm watching this, looks like we're going to get a 5 pull over here. So the strangeness doesn't stop, and the ladder shenanigans doesn't seem to stop either. So never a dull moment here, I'm afraid, in the life of Togles. I always feel like he gets cheese more often than Autosis does, unless the ladder is just full of cheese, and because Autosis gets so much exposure, it happens more to him than others, or that we're aware of. But yeah, he's definitely been clobbered with all sorts of interesting builds so far. So we'll have to see if he scouts this, because if he doesn't, he's going to be in for a bit of pain. It is cross spawns as well, so he's unlikely to scout this straight away. He's going to go and make his racks on 11, which is pretty normal. And yeah, we'll have to see how this progresses. Sending out a drone to find him. If the Overlord's going to find that he's not here. The drone's going to find he's not here. He's going to know it's cross spawns. And the lings will be well and truly on their way. He is... I was going to say he is just doing a straight scout. He does tend to scout the near position. In every game I've watched him thus far, he does tend to scout the closest spawn. He's going to have no idea this is coming. This is just going to unfortunately be a straight GG. Guys, I did intentionally leave this in the compilation just to show you, for anyone who ladders, you know, don't feel bad. This happens to good players all the time. And it's just one of those things where you have a build order loss, you leave the game, and you're on to the next one, as we are too. Okay, this time we're on Metropolis, and our Zerg is doing conventional things, so we don't have to worry about any 4 pools or any abruptly ending games this time around. So Togles is spawned here in the top left in yellow, and the alias of the Zerg he's playing against is I'm Trust. So obviously he's a very trustworthy, upstanding Zerg gentleman, and will therefore probably only be doing gentlemanly Zergly things, or so we hope. Alrighty, so we'll keep mixing it up. We'll have all kinds of games. Some will be long, some will be short. All will be Togles, and hopefully all will be fun. Let me know if you are enjoying this compilation style content. Like I've mentioned, it's just scout at the middle here, just because of how common this is. So that's very, very interesting. Let me know if you enjoy the compilation content, or if your preference would be to see long macro games, you know, 25 minutes plus. I'm happy to mix it all up and do what everybody wants. So any feedback is always appreciated. So we were scouting, very standard start, although an early gas. So this is going to be something a little bit different from Togles this time. Early gas is usually a signal of mech or something along those lines. Being a nuisance with his drone here is Mr. Trust. He's throwing down his 12 hatchery. Still being painful with his drone. He's a pretty quick player. Both players are playing pretty quick. So this is definitely pretty highly skillful Starcraft. No doubt about that. So Togles comes in, scouts the timing on the 12 hatch. He's going to see the pull timing. He's going to presumably see a lair, a gas, and transition into lair. So he'll scout there for as long as he can. Based on what he's seen, he feels safe expanding, which I think he absolutely is. And so we will transition into a pretty fun game, I hope. Sending his drone here all kinds of places just to scout. And no not to scout, just to make a 3-minute and 15-second third hatchery in a TVZ, and just pray to everybody that you pray to that Togles doesn't scout it. That's the magic here that the Zerg is after, for sure. Please don't scout my sneaky base, sir. So he's going to see the lair and wants to probably keep his SV long enough to see confirm that number 1, it's the spire, and number 2, the spire timing. It's going to be quite a while before the lair comes up, so I think he's okay. Meanwhile, he will be dealing with his build. Needs to transfer a couple more workers. Was a little slow on that, but he's got it sorted now. It's up to about 5 Marines at this stage. Still got this SCV alive. 1 hit point on him left though, so he's gonna have to run. You get 2. No! Okay, he did. Sunken's been made. just to protect against any marine pressure. Lair is on the way, so Togles won't confirm the lair. Excuse me, won't confirm the spire. But I think all signals from our Zerg thus far is that that's probably what he's going to be doing. And there it is. Okay, so he's making a spire. His meter's going to be late because he's done a very weird build. And I wonder if that's going to tip him off. You know, I think if you play this game a lot, like somebody of his rank would, you've got a very good sense of timing as to when to expect mutas, right? So if the mutas are late, they're late for a reason. You've got to, you know, intuitively ask yourself, what is that reason? He's now also forcing out a lot of Sunkens that might be late here. Only one is done, and I think he's going to get himself some good value here. Again, has to pull the drones to body block, and our second Sunken is working pretty hard. Evo Chamber also just creating a little bit of a Sim City here. Firebat joins the fray, and this Sunken is going down at a rapid rate of knots. Medic's working really hard. Drones are going to have to get pulled here for the back Sunken to get the job done. And the one remaining Firebat does run for his life. Couple of reinforcements here, and I reckon still got some interest in pushing this position. Could perhaps knock down an Evo Chamber for nothing. Mutas are still not yet incoming, because Spire is now only finishing, so he's remaking some drones. Probably going to pick off this Evolution Chamber, which is not a useless target. Carapace and upgrades of that nature are very, very useful in the early game, and timings around upgrades for Zerg do become critical and scale very much into the mid and late games. So goodbye Evo Chamber. A single Sunken, and he's got a decent clump of units, so he could probably press this. But does seem to be inclined to pull back, probably just to assist with the impending Mutalisk harassment, which he is now expecting. Here we see the meters coming in. We have two turrets that are going to be here. We've got one in the main, potentially a second one finishing here. So does have a little bit of protection against this. Of course, this back area, not ideal. It does make it a little bit difficult for the Terran to defend. Starport already. Wow, this is really, really quick. Kills the SCV that was making the starport, and has the added advantage of scouting what Togles is up to. The sneaky base of the Zerg is really giving him a serious advantage here. And he's got a decent critical mass of mutas. Does send 4 more across here to at least slow the mutas down. Only 4. So I think if he had a full stack, or he can build up to a full stack, which is looks like what he's trying to do, it's going to probably continue to grief Togles here for quite some time. Starport now nearly done. Does lose a muta. Starport is finished though. Picks off that add-on. Just annoying. Science Vessel on the way as well. Does fly within range of the turrets. So 7 in the stack this time. He's got a full stack available to him here, plus an Overlord. And so that seems to be what he's going with. Here it is, full stack. Has lost 1 from the stack. Otherwise the rest here are looking pretty healthy. Not gonna lie, and he can swap out the healthy ones and the unhealthy ones. This is really unrelenting. Togles is miles behind. diving on top of these turrets, just backing himself here, and this is maybe a little bit of an overcommitment, although still all of the meters remain intact. Got himself at least 2, possibly 3 SCVs there. Now back to the main, where he is making a vessel. Takes down the turrets here. There's quite a few of them, but just diving on everything. There's no meters in the main. Excuse me. There's no marines that have come through to support in the main to take down these meters. Sacked a fair few meters there. Difficult to gauge how good of a trade that was or wasn't. It's going to swap out a few of the unhealthy ones with the healthy ones and have another go. Just absolutely unrelenting here. And I think our Zerg has surrendered a lot of initiative here by just overcommitting. Togles is showing insane amounts of composure here, just fending this off beautifully. You know, this base still remains totally undetected. He's made, oh my god, I think that was a misclick. He made so many overlords. He's 61 of 139. Oopsie! I dare say that that was the wrong button. Hydra Den is on the way, and I think our Togles is going to be okay. He's shooting this supply depot because the marines are somehow, the medics are stuck. You're joking. How is that possible? Sometimes this game is just ridiculous. Anyway, disaster averted, composure maintained, and our Togles wants to move out onto the map. I think he means business. So let's see what he's got in store for Mr. I Am Trust. Lurker aspect is on the way, so it's still going to be a while before he can defend this with lurkers, so the tanks could be an interesting little addition. I think he can spare this overlord, so that shouldn't be a disaster, considering he's got 131 supply available and only 77 in use. Okay, so we have 2 Sunkens, 2 Hydras that cannot yet morph into lurkers. He's going to rely on Mutus. He's going to rely on Scourge, and he's going to be relying on Irradiate to counter these mutants. He's going to knock down these Sunkens with his siege tank. Does have siege mode, and I definitely feel the tide turning in favor of our Terran friend. Although our Zerg has taken yet another base over here, so that could make a difference. We'll just have to keep an eye on that as we go. Only 33 drones, so you may have a lot of hatches and a lot of bases, but we do need to also get that economy up in terms of worker count as well. So we've broken through the first wall. We had 3, oh my god, look at this convergence here. He's hit the 1 Irradiate. He's got a defensive matrix on top of this marine. And the full dive has kind of resulted in mixed results, I would say. Still has the mutas, and here they come again. But suddenly 81 plays 63. Army supplies are relatively equal because of the worker count deficit. There isn't really too much here to support the tanks. The lurkers aren't going to be too much of a threat to these tanks, but the mutas remain a bit of a nuisance, and he's probably going to tidy up here what he's got left. He's got a stack of 5 mutas, picking off his remaining tanks, and I'll say it again, this has been one hell of a game. Just absolute non-stop action from beginning to end, and he's going to pick off that vessel. Now has some medics, one very, very hyped up marine, and Togles is just going to keep going here. I think he senses an opening, scans and sees there's no lurkers, so he can safely move in and probably take out down this hatch. I don't really know where our Zerg goes from here. He's making 6 more lurkers, making more drones. He's got morphing a few lurkers up here on the ramp, so it's going to be difficult to get up here. I'm assuming with all the scans that are being done that some of these outer bases are going to be discovered any minute now if they haven't already. And that's probably going to redirect Togles' attention, try and knock all of those bases down. And I think it's going to be a tough time for the Zerg. Again, he's got himself all of his overlords down here moving at an absolutely pedestrian pace. He's had this base for a while, but nothing happening. So does irradiate. Picks off that marine. I wonder if he's going to go up here, if he's going to wait. Meanwhile, some lurker counterattacks seem to be on the cards, and I think this has been totally undetected. Oh no! Oh no, no! Oh, such pain. Really, really clever to actually put these lurkers on the rally. I hope he notices this time. Eventually, he figured out what was going on. Nope, picks off the vessel that was looking at that, and unfortunately those tanks sieged up in range. So once again, the pendulum swinging back just a little. That little lurker counterattack worked very, very nicely. You can see having them on the pathway from the rally right through to where he was pressuring was a very, very clever move from our Zerg. His outer bases still remain totally unharassed for now. There's one remaining lurker here that should be tidied up, although scans the whole area, loses a few marines, doesn't want to lose this vessel, but I'm afraid he does. And only one lurker though is between Togles and getting some tanks up to the natural to once again push this position. What a game this has been. He is not moving to the natural though, he's moving to one of these outer bases. So the gig is up, the outer bases have been discovered. Moved some lurkers in here, but I think he's probably got enough bioforce to take this. He just needs to scan, stem, and go. Maybe with 4 could wait for some reinforcements. He moved his units down towards where these bases were. Seems to have changed his mind, and I think he just wants to try and break the natural and potentially the main. Also seems to just want to float in a command center here. A couple of hydras there being a nuisance. But siege tanks are definitely going to be the difference maker here. They're going to take a very, very difficult break, which is lurkers on the high ground or lurkers spread on the low ground, and make a child's play. I don't know if we're going to see some dark swarm or whatever, but seems to be quite cocksure moving in here. Nothing's burrowing. They're kind of tripping all over each other, these lurkers. They're taking ages to get into position. Still took forever to burrow. There's plenty of Togles here and plenty of detection, so I don't think this is going to be too hard for him to break. And we do hear the lurkers dying. He's not using the bio. He's just asking his tanks to pick them off. And the tanks are saying, yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. 3 bags full, sir. Meanwhile, the counterattack here. This command center is being landed. He needs to lift it off, and he needs to lift it off quickly. I don't know where Togles' attention is. He is making a bunker here to try and take this down, but he needs to lift this up to save it. Does now, but he's going to now need an SCV to repair it, because unfortunately it's gotten red. I reckon he can probably get that done. That was brutal. Trying to get some bio up a hill with lurkers on the high ground. Ow. Just ow. Mega, mega ow. Oh man, these lurkers are absolutely having a field day of it. So the bunker is in range of the hatch, so he's going to hit the... He's hitting the lava. I don't know if he's hitting the hatch. We'll get back to that. We're still having a bit of fun here with our medics getting wrecked. Oh my god, the blood Another big fight coming in here. Looks like speedlings against marines. Marines having a really good time shredding through here. And the hatch remains pretty unprotected. There are no more lurkers left here though. I think all of the lurkers were used to deny the space. Did get a bit of a repair here, so this is now safe. For the time being anyway. And Togles also, excuse me, I didn't see the dropship, but he did finally apply some pressure to one of these outer bases and knocks down that hatchery. I won't be surprised to see him moving to one of these. He's actually knocked this down as well. So just a lot, too many things to track. My apologies for missing the fact that he knocked down these bottom 2 bases of our Zerg. Togles has got bunkers with nothing in them. Now he's got something in them, and he's filled up the other bunker. So a decent amount of detection here, and the repair should probably get the job done. So he's able to hold the counterattack. He's transferring his workers here. But Mr. I'm Trust, GG's out of what was an absolutely frenetic game. Really so much fun. Some funny moments, some fun moments, some really good play, some goofy things as well. But eventually when he was able to shut down these outer bases and contend for this spot, hold here and hold here, I think our Zerg knew there was no coming back. And that was a really fun game. The compilation is not over. I've still got a bit more for you today. I've still got a bit more energy left. So let's see what else I have in store for you today. Okay, this time we're on Polestar. I didn't actually change the colors. They spawned as red versus blue. And cross spawns. This time our friend's Togles opponent is TSDA2DD. Okay, let's see what he has in store for us here in this cross-spawn TVZ. So our compilation is slowly coming to an end, but we still have, hopefully, some more fun to look forward to, because this has just been non-stop action, variety, surprises, and some good stuff. I mean, Togles was miles behind in that game, and to fight back from that deficit and win was nothing short of impressive. It was really, really good. So looking forward to seeing what else he has in store for us today. So just starting as standard with our barracks. We haven't seen like a 14cc or anything like that from him, but we have pretty much seen exclusively, with the exception of the 5 pool game, 12 hatches from our Zergs, and we're not seeing from Togles the low ground open, right? So a lot of Terrans are doing the depot, the racks, the depot, and then kind of walling themselves in, expanding, and trying to get ahead economically. I've not actually seen that in the series yet, so interestingly enough, as common and as popular as that tactic is among a lot of Terran players, including Artosis, not something that we are seeing from Togles at the moment. I do have another Terran versus Zerg showcase banked up that I want to do soon, and I also have another Terran versus Protoss showcase of his that I want to that I have banked up that I want to do soon. So maybe it'll be in there, maybe it'll be in some other games of his that we do. As I mentioned a number of times in the cast, how much Togles you see will be depending on the response to the little series of videos that we have done on him for the month of Feb. Alright, so we get in, we scout, we have 5 hit points left. It would be really so delicious if we can get hold of this drone. SCV gets in here, sees... should see the lair now. Yep, lair happens exactly at 100 gas. So everything is normal in Zergland. So what are our results so far? We've done 5 games. Togles won the first one, lost the second one, lost the third one, won the fourth one. No, wait. How many games has it been? Have there only been 3? No, there's 6 games. 5 games. I don't know. My brain is not braining, man. I'll have to, I'll mention it in the editing, just to see that I haven't gone totally insane. The point, though, is that the ladder journeys of any player is definitely full of ups and downs. No doubt about that at all. Alrighty, so our spire is on the way somewhere. There it is. Gee whiz, that's sneaky. That's how to hide the spire. That's like turbo advanced, man, right behind the extractor. Very nice. Very nice, very nice, very nice. A couple of lings coming in to see what's cooking. And we've got a little pod of bio that we've just been building with non-stop 2 racks production. Our eBay is on the way. Stem is on the way. And looks like we're going to do a little push here. Zergling does scout it. And there are a couple of Sunkens coming up. And they will be up well in time. And our Ling would have also got a count on how many units are on the way here. So the question we all have is, are 2 Sunkens going to be enough? Scans? I mean, there's no risk of there being any lurkers. And is this a timing that Togles is going to try and pull off just before the mutas arrive? So 5 mutas are in production, and here we go. He dives on top of the Sunkens. Pulls the drones without body blocking at all, and the fire bats have come in here and absolutely wrecked havoc, and that is going to be the end of the Sunkens. He's got plenty of units here left over. They suddenly all stopped and glitched there for a second. He doesn't go for the natural, actually runs straight into the main. Whoopsie, we zoomed out a little far here. And a couple of mutas that have popped are not enough. He got the fire bats on top of the drones really brilliantly. So killed way too many drones and pulls off a very nicely executed timing here. That was absolutely gorgeous from Togles. Apologies for the little mouse glitch there. But that was a really snug, very nice execution. So I've got one more game left in my compilation. I'll also gather myself and just double check the score for you. So give me a moment and we will do the final game. Okay, so my Adobe brain has recovered, and from recollection, we have done 5 games in our compilation so far, if we include that little 5-pool rush. And Togles has won 3, and he has lost 2. So we have 1 game left in our compilation today. So we've done a showcase of 6 games of Terran vs. Zerg Togles playing, and it's been a really nice mix of some fun games. The final game of our series today is going to be played on Fighting Spirit. So let's see what the players have in store for us in our final installment of Chapter 1 of the Zerg series, or the Terran vs. Zerg series of Togles. We will have a Chapter 2. We'll also have a Chapter 2 of the Terran vs. Protoss. So definitely giving it a full go to see what it is that all the hype is about, because I'd never heard of Togles, and then suddenly everybody started talking about him in the world of YouTube. So I can see a little bit about what the fuss is about. His games are definitely fun, and at the end of the day, that's what we want to be viewing as the Brood War fans and nerds that we are. So let's see. We have little I don't know how to pronounce that. Little O, well, capital O, small O-A. So you tell me. Little it's not like I need to be put in a jacket. Anyway. So we have got our hatchery. We're getting our gas. We're getting our pool. So very normal stuff in Zergland. It seems a little bit slower on the APM side than most at this level. We'll just see if that gets less, more, or stays the same as the game progresses. And Togles now is sending out his first scout after a pretty standard start from him. So not getting the fastest gas. Has been seen to be getting this gas. I think he's going to do a 1 Marine or 2 Marine expand this time. Maybe 3, because I can see 2 queued up. So he's going to do an expansion. I think he's just waiting to confirm that it is hatch first, which he now does. And he's waiting to confirm the layer timing, which he now does. So he can safely expand. So getting a little sense of the pattern and the decision tree that Togles makes in the early game, because he's been quite consistent with that. And it's been good. It's been very good. Couple of links popping out. Won't be any dramas here. The rest of it's drones, getting link speed after getting lair. So all very standard stuff. Our expansion is up. Skipping the bunker. He doesn't do the forward wall, as I've mentioned in previous games. And doesn't seem to get a bunker. Just kind of trusts his micro and his scouting to hold any pressure that would come from the Zerg, getting our academy. So it's just basically played Marine Medic the whole time. None of the fancy builds that we see from the Koreans on display here from Togles in this particular series. But as I mentioned, as our sample of games broadens out, who knows what weird and wonderful, interesting things we will see. So Lings are on the way, just poking in here just to probably see what's happening. I expect some Sunkens or some creep colonies will be made soon, but the purpose of having the Lings here is just to confirm any move out timing, similar to the previous game. Confirm the move out timings, but just didn't react quickly enough. I think the fire bats made such a huge difference, and once he killed the Sunkens, to move into the main and to split his army up was really good micro. So yeah, that was actually a very, very impressive execution of a timing attack. Please don't lose an SCV here. Nope, very, very close, but he doesn't. Take a mine again. Yep, okay, so back they go. So we are making some sunks, and once again, Togles is going to try and execute this timing. He really seems to mean business. Is he making the fire bats this time? It doesn't look like it. But we're only making the 2 Sunkens. I really hope that we don't have the sneaky extra game that I can tell you guys about. So he's pulling the drones. The drones are kind of doing not much of anything here, perhaps just distracting these Marines. There's no fire bats with this. Here does the fire bat, first fire bat shows up. He does definitely like to get his fire bats involved. A bit more body blocking from this Zerg surrounding the fire bats. Medics though just are such difference makers. And here we go. First couple of meters will pop out, and I just think that doesn't quite have the numbers this time. So our Zerg will hold on, but that was very, very close. I reckon he would have had his heart in his mouth there for a while. Picks up a couple of free medics as well in the process of tidying that up. So Togles pulls back, gets his turrets up. It's very much an ebb and flow game match, isn't this? So Terrans can put on the initial pressure, then Zergs can come with muters and they can apply pressure. Once it's held and science vessels are out, then Terrans can apply pressure. So it's very much a pendulum type matchup for sure. So 7 meters are out and about, trying to see where they can find an opening. Picks up a free marine there, picks up another one. Only the 1 turret here in the support of the production, making a second. Does have the vast majority of his units here anyway, so that's probably the place where he would need the least protection, but still would want to have something. Running into the bunker here, just to try and make use of that. So that's the first time I think I've seen him use a bunker in the early exchanges here so far. Third rack's coming up. Kills the SCV that's making that rack. Just really, really annoying harassment style play here. Picked up his APN here as well, has our Zerg, playing at about 300. Definitely a serious skill set. Microing, muters. Using the map control to take himself a third base. So 4 turrets in the natural. Couple here. Does target down one of the 2 turrets. Scans to see that the mutas have backed away a little. And now the question is, has the pendulum swung back? Or at what point will it swing back? Probably when vessels are out. We are also researching siege mode. So the other thing I've learned watching Togles is he's a big fan of having some tanks in the mid game to break high grounds, especially if Zerg is using lurkers to defend high ground position. And he does it to really good effect, I must say. Continues to be annoying with his mutas. 4 lurkers are morphing in. So it is definitely lurker time. And we'll obviously be trying to hold his bases with the use of lurkers. Interestingly enough, takes the low ground and not the high ground expansion. And Togles is moving out onto the map. Let's do a nice big view here. So we've got some lurkers burrowing. Just kind of pausing here for the time being, just gathering himself. Probably get himself a couple of free marines here. As he does. Targets down the tank. Very nicely done there. Target firing. Looks off a free marine on the retreat. Might try and target down the tank again, but I think that might be a bit risky. Getting sandwiched there amongst everything. The 4 lurkers here just chilling. I think the Zerg has been really solid. I think this is a good match. Queen's Nest on the way. Probably pushing up to Hive Tech quite soon. And Togles doesn't seem too sure where they should stop or where they should go. Space is up and running quite nicely. Defiler's in the game already. Wow, this has really progressed pretty fast. Nidus as well. Okay, so he is not going to be caught off guard by these lurkers. He's got the science vessel. Moves backwards. Doesn't want a bar of it. Understandably. Got a few more lurkers here as well. So about 7 lurkers and a flock of mutas. What he has to defend himself. Oh, ouch. Radiate here. Does split the mutas off quite nicely from the rest. Here we go. Looks like we're building up to a pretty big engagement. Probably another radiate on the way. And that's the end of that lurker. Another lurker too, potentially. So dives in here with the Dark Swarm. Really nicely executed timing on this. Mutas coming in to support as well. Absolutely shredding the Marines. The tanks are pretty much all gone as well. Could potentially move forward here and throw down another Dark Swarm. Plague is on the way as well. I think Plague here could potentially be a huge difference maker. Togles does kind of move back, not to lick his wounds, but to press a new area. The Nidus, though, and a Defiler waiting here. So I don't know if he's going to get a particularly different result. Sending up some lurkers here for a counterattack. This is going to be an absolute nightmare to track. So he does send down the Dark Swarm, and he's going to retreat here. This is pretty well defended. Now what are we doing here with our counterattack of lurkers? The question is, a lot of dying and then a lot of murdering. Oh my god. Oh, he lost so many Marines there. Tanks are firing, but under the Dark Swarm, it's very, very difficult to get any penetration. The Defiler, though, is going to try and... he's just going to die. Something's dead. Some mutas and stuff joining the fray here. I have the feeling the Zerg is going to want to try and pounce. And here we go. Another Dark Swarm. One of the Lurkers died as he went under the Dark Swarm, so I think there's only one here still firing. The Muta's still just watching the fight, not involving them until he feels he absolutely has to. Plague now chucked on the Marines and Firebats as well, so this is probably the time to bring the Marines, the Mutas in. Meanwhile, a counter-attack here, but once again, fending everything off using Dark Swarm and Lurkers. The Nidus reinforcing. That's the end of that vessel. Bye-bye, thanks for coming. Woo! What a game. What a series. What a player. This Zerg seems really, really decent. Really, really stretching Togles to his limit. So this command center now is under attack. We've got a lot of Firebats. I haven't actually seen this many Firebats from a Terran player in any matchup. So it's pretty fun to see him do it. So it radiates, but just dives on top of the vessel. It's going to definitely, I think, very likely get this one. The irradiated one is infecting the others though, so not the best micro. Counter attack from Togles this time, chasing this Defiler for all it's worth. Oh my god. Gets the dog, gets the plague on here, and oh no. Lurkers, man. Lurkers are a bio go to die. Oh! Just more death. More death. It has taken this base as well. Just needs to saturate it. So our Zerg's looking pretty strong on 4 bases. Togle's still stuck on 2. He's just making his first SCVs here. And does do the transfer. And looks like our orange Zerg is gathering up his forces, consuming and unsieging in inverted commas by moving his Lurkers. And it's now mixing in a Hydra Lurker Defiler composite, which is actually pretty damn difficult to play against. And I think Togles has decided, I've seen enough. I'm going to face that attack in my natural. You're going to throw up Dark Swarm. You're going to throw it on Plague. I'm just not going to have enough to repel you. I'm going to lose my 3rd base. That's going to be the game. So he called it before it happened. And that's it, guys. That's the first showcase of Togles. 3 wins, 3 losses. As balanced of a showcase of a series of matches as you could probably possibly get. I am trying to mix it up, trying to give some good variety. Please do give me any and all feedback. It will be much appreciated. And I'll be back again soon with some interesting, fun, and wacky Brood War. And until next time, you take it easy, man. I'll see you soon.